So moving on very quickly to our next two speakers. We have two sisters coming to share this. Please put your hands together for Hannelie and Ankie.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Ankie Bell.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Hannelie Ehlers. So we are two sisters, as Simon has said, from South Africa. As you probably have gathered from my accent. And we have both been in the UK for more than 14 years.
So Hannelie is my big sister. So I am used to all my life having to take the back seat and go last. So today I'm going to have the first word. But actually, as you know, she loves having the last word, so she's okay with that. So just a little bit of background on me. So my name is Ankie. I'm married to Jamie, and we have 4 children, 2 teenagers and 2 younger ones. And everybody bands around the term reason why, and that is a really, really compelling thing for Hannelie and I for why we joined Mastermind. My husband is an IT contractor, and he has been working away Monday to Friday most weeks since 2006. And we decided that we really wanted to change that. So in our home, we have what is called Operation Bring Daddy Home. And that is to replace his income through our property income so that he doesn't have to work away anymore. I used to be in IT prior to 2007. When my husband started contracting away, I became more of a stay-at-home mum so that I could look after the children with all his traveling. But I always had a real passion for wanting to be an entrepreneur and wanting to have a business. So since 2007, I tried various different businesses. Some were more successful than others. And in 2014, I set up a small letting agency, really just looking after our own single lets, but then also started looking after it for a few of our friends. And we started building slowly on just a single let portfolio, not really knowing how to do it properly until we came on Mastermind.
So a bit more about me. I am married to Chris. He's also South African. And my reason why is that Chris has serious back problems. He had 3 back ops the last 4 years, so he really struggled to get through every day. And on top of that, he has other health issues. So I really want to get him out of his day job. Whether that's going to be a good idea remains to be seen. So my background is in finance, predominantly in South Africa. Since we've moved to the UK, I've worked for Guide Dogs for the Blind for 11 amazing years in various senior management roles, but I always wanted to get back into property. So I've worked full-time until August last year, but I'm now luckily full-time into property, and I love it with all the challenges and the successes that it brings.
Yeah. So we wanted to just give you a little bit of a synopsis of our journey on this mastermind here. So firstly, we invest in North Nottinghamshire and the edges of Lincolnshire. And we started off on this journey with an HMO strategy in mind. And we did that at first, and then we veered off onto a different strategy, which you'll see as we go through our journey. But really, one of the biggest things for me about Mastermind has been the enormous mindset shift. So prior to Mastermind, we collected a few single lets, and we did some mini-mos and small HMOs. But really, I never really had the confidence to purchase a property over £100,000. In honesty, our property values were always between 50 and 80k, and that's what we had confidence for, and that's what we could do because we knew that and we were confident with it. As a result of Mastermind Accelerator, straight after that 3-day course, my eyes were completely open to what kind of strategies and what kind of methods were available and possible. And I went straight after Mastermind Accelerator and found the pub and also a block of flats with commercial units that could be converted into flats. And my mindset, when after those 3 days, it shifted from never properties between no more than 50 to 80k to suddenly looking at something that was 165 and something for £280,000. And then within the first few months of Mastermind, again, an enormous mindset shift with the kind of values that we could acquire with us finding the farm that we will show you later. That was such a big leap of going to a property and looking and purchasing a property that was nearly £1 million.
Yeah, so as Ankie has said, this has been a massive mind shift change year for us. Another thing is that if you would have told us a year ago that we will be able to raise 50k, we would have laughed at you, let alone hundreds of thousands of pounds. And that's what we've done this year. We were really fortunate that we managed to raise a large amount of private finance. In fact, 5 of our fellow Mastermind 25 family has entrusted their money with us, which we're really grateful for.
And then for us, another thing about this year has been the opportunities that being part of this community and within the greater Mastermind and PIN community creates, because we were invited to become the Lincoln PIN hosts and relaunch Lincoln PIN. And that process started in November, and then we launched Lincoln PIN last month in February, and we have our next meeting next month. And that was just an incredible, incredible meeting, and we're so excited and privileged for that opportunity. And also, a couple of weeks ago at Strategy Implementation Live, we were invited on the sofa on stage with Simon to discuss how we have scaled up to these bigger deals over our Mastermind here, which was a really, really awesome experience.
And then the most important thing probably is the people, and especially you guys in the room. Guys, you will never know what your friendship and your support, your love, you picked us up when we were low, and your the network has just been incredible. We can't thank you enough for that. Really, you've really become our family.
We were just saying this week, you know, that if you meet like a group of 50 to 60 people like we are here, statistically, you would really only actually click with about 10%. So that would be 5 to 6 people. And just looking around the room, how many of you we have become amazing friends with? It is awesome. And then also for us, the wider PIN community, previous masterminders that have given us advice on financing the farm, on planning, on refurb planning and scoping out. It's incredible the support that is in this community. And also our fellow PIN hosts and the people that we serve on PIN teams with are also amazing.
Right, so to move on to one of the deals that we're going to show you. So we have bought this pub in Worksop last year. We did a pub conversion, so commercial to residential. We created a flats with an HMO, and we now have 14 rental units. So this was originally on the market for 230K on Rightmove, and we bought it for 165. So our total spend was 353K, and we've got an end valuation of 475. So our profit per year is 36K, which gives us a 170% ROI. So we're pretty pleased about this deal, obviously. And the valuation that we got was 50K over the best that we were hoping for.
Yeah, and the 170% ROI is calculated based on the fact that we left £21,000 in the deal, but with our annual profit that is 36K, that is then 170% ROI. And actually that is also investor money. So moving on to our second deal that we're showing you, it is West Drayton Farm in Lincolnshire. So just a few pictures first to show you a little bit about the property. So there's a 5-bedroom farmhouse, which is the picture on your far left. And then there was a picture of the grounds and an aerial picture of the property. And then the other aerial picture just shows it a little bit closer. So you can see that it goes in like a U shape with the properties along the right, and then that brown building, and then the properties along the left, and then there's a 4-car garage and that green living barn in the corner, and then it's set in 13 acres. So this property used to operate as a farm years ago. It hasn't been one for ages. So it's a 13-acre property with a house and numerous outbuildings. And like I said earlier, our strategy changed throughout the year, because after we found it and we saw the potential, we decided that we would go for serviced accommodation or holiday-let units. There will be 11 holiday-let units on this property that will sleep a total of 60 people. And we are doing it in phased developments. We are currently underway with phase 1, which is the first 6 units that we are developing. So we purchased this property for £950,000. The vendors originally wanted 1.1 million for it, but we got a discount on it. Our costs for phase 1, this is just phase 1 I'm talking about that we're working on right now, is 210,000. And then when we mortgage at our first GDV, which is in the summer after phase 1, we can mortgage out at a value of 1.5 million. And then our profit per annum on this part, this is only for the first phase. our profit per annum is £60,000, and that is with the first 6 units being done. We haven't yet added on the 5 units that are still coming. And that leaves us with a 60% return on investment for the money we'll have to leave in for this phase. And one of the amazing things as well that happened as part of financing this deal was that we purchased a proportion of the purchase price was actually done with vendor finance, which we then had to pay back 6 months later, where we got some private investors in. But it really enabled us at the time to be able to do the deal.
Right, so this is just a summary of our figures, what we've done this year. So apart from the pub and the farm, we've also bought a block of flats, which we did, that deal was exchanged with delayed completion for 400k, £400,000. We also thrown a single let into the mix, and then we've secured a rent-to-rent deal. So our total property value is just under 2.1 million, with an annual income of 120,000.
And then our equity calculated on that is that the equity that we have of the 2.1 million is just over 1.1 million. And then something else we wanted to just share as part of the figures that we're really, really proud of. Like Hannelie said, we didn't believe a year ago we could raise 50k. We raised £900,000 in the last 12 months from 18 different investors. And some of them have reinvested with us already after their terms expired, and 3 of them have made additional investments with us of further funds. So it really is possible.
So what's next? So as you probably have seen from that aerial picture, that property is quite vast, so it's going to keep us busy for a number of years. So we are planning to develop the other 5 units from October this year, and then once completed, we should have a gross development value of 2.5 million, and we're planning to mortgage that out by the end of 2020.
And then something else that's next for us, Hannelie and I are both really looking forward to having the time to slow down a little bit. This year has been absolutely crazy, and our feet have not touched the ground. But once we are done with phase 1 and we can give phase 2 to a large build team, we are so excited that we'll be in a position to work on our actual vision. We're both really passionate about working with churches and charities to be able to provide housing in our local area, and also to help with the aging population housing crisis, to be able to provide housing for the elderly. So we can start working on that strategy once we've done this phase of the farm.
So in terms of our top tips, so the first one is to trust your gut. Whether it's about a builder or a tradesman, etc., if something doesn't feel right, then there's probably something wrong, so walk away.
Yeah, and just to add to that, sorry Ali to interrupt you, but you guys know the amount of builder issues we had. You guys were picking us up in those 2 months that we had extreme builder issues on the pub conversion. And you know, we, in hindsight, if we trusted our gut initially, in some of our first dealings with these guys, it probably wouldn't have happened. So that really was a massive learning for us.
And then also, tell everyone what you do, as Simon also, tell us all the time, is because if people know what we're doing, that's where the money is coming from, etc., as well as the support.
Yeah. So this one is a lesson we have learned. My coach is in the back of the room, and she knows that I'm still learning it some weeks, but don't have too much on if you want to have a life, okay? So we nearly killed ourselves this year, and we are really pleased that we did because of the result that we've had. But we don't want to repeat the craziness of the amount of moving parts that we've had going, because it's great thinking you're going to do a lot of deals, but the reality is one deal will be in finance, one deal will be with legals, one deal will be in refurb planning, one deal will be in HMO application, whatever, and there are so many moving parts that you don't have time for your family or to have a life.
And then we can promise you that you will be out of your debt numerous times, but that's where the beauty of this group and the wider community comes in, where one really can tap into the knowledge and the support, and that is really beautiful.
Yeah. And trust the process. Seriously, do what Simon says. Whether it's for raising finance, whether it's for finding deals, just do what Simon says and it will come.
Yeah. And then most importantly, have fun, have a laugh, and work with people that you like. Whether that is true for me and Ankie remains to be seen.
Oh, you'll like me again tomorrow, it's fine. Right. And so lastly, we just wanted to give a few quick thank yous. Our biggest thank you goes out to God. A lot of you know that we are church girls and our Christian faith is really important to us. And this year, a lot of things we sincerely believe would not have happened for us if it wasn't for our prayer and faith that went into our deals.
Yeah, we feel truly blessed for everything that came our way and eternally grateful.
So we wanted to also thank our husbands and children. For me, to Jamie and Connor, Liam, Jack and Laura. My kids have sacrificed on family time, on days out, on mummy time, and they've been an amazing support, and the teenagers have been babysitting for me to do this. So thanks, guys.
And to my husband, Chris, we don't have kids, so he goes home to an empty house. So thank you for all your sacrifices, for being home alone and for putting up with me working silly hours. I couldn't have done it without you, Chris. And then also to our friends and family for all their support and prayers.
To you guys, to our MM25 family. We've seen more of you than we've probably seen of our own family this year. It's a good thing we like all of you. But seriously, guys, for our WhatsApp group, long may it continue, for these sessions, for Mastermind Extra, the body calls, the conversations, the visits to the farm, the support and encouragement, you're awesome. Thank you. And also to our investors, to the 5 of you in the room, and to our other 13 investors, if it wasn't for your investment with us, these dreams would not be coming true, and we wouldn't be standing here today, so thank you.
Then to our coaches, to my coach, Bernadette, thank you so much for your wisdom, for your counsel, wise counsel, and for calming me down, because I needed it a lot.
And for me, to Sally Cope, I could not, we were a match made in heaven, Sally. I'm so glad that you were matched as my coach, and thank you for being here.
And then also to our mentor, Rob McFan, thank you for being our champion. Thank you for being so supportive for all your visits to the farm, and also for telling us to slow down in July, but we didn't really listen, but thank you anyway.
And then last but not least, Mr. Z, Simon Zutshi, thank you for creating this program. Thank you for setting up this business in the first place. And thank you for giving so many of us the training and the opportunity to make our dreams come true.
And I echo everything that Ankie has said, Simon, but also thank you for creating such an ethical environment which really resonates with us.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So thank you, guys.
Thanks,
Love
guys.
you all. Cheers.
Thank you.